When an automobile engine's temperature exceeds its average working range, which is between 195 degrees and 220 degrees, it is said to be overheating. Serious damage from this could include coolant leaks, unusual engine noises, burning smells, and in extreme situations, a fractured engine block. Low engine oil, malfunctioning thermostats, radiator or cooling fan problems, and low coolant levels are typical reasons. It's critical to identify signs such as a high temperature gauge, steam coming from underneath the hood, strange smells, or warning lights in order to avoid expensive repairs and engine failure. To fix an overheating car engine, follow these steps carefully to avoid damage and injury. Number 9, turn off the air conditioner and turn on the heater to maximum heat. Because the AC compressor uses a lot of power and produces more heat, turning off the air conditioner as soon as your engine starts to overheat lessens the strain on the engine. Engine temperature rise is slowed by this decrease in workload. The heater core, which is essentially a tiny radiator inside the cabin, is activated simultaneously when the heater is set to its highest setting. By drawing heat away from the engine itself, the heater core moves heat from the engine coolant into the passenger cabin. This is a short-term but efficient way to reduce engine temperature and limit further overheating until you can safely stop the car and take care of the problem, even if it will make the cabin uncomfortable. Number 8, find a safe place to pull over and shut off the engine. Driving while the engine is overheating increases the danger of serious damage, including blown head gaskets, bent cylinder heads, or even an engine seizure. Find a safe place to stop, preferably off the road or in a parking lot, as soon as you see any of the following symptoms: a sudden rise in the temperature gauge, smoke or steam emerging from underneath the hood, or a pleasant scent that indicates coolant leakage. To prevent additional heat generation, turn off the engine right away. The metal engine parts, which expand when heated, can cool and compress during this interval, avoiding irreversible warping or cracking. While you evaluate the issue or wait for help, use warning lights to warn other vehicles and protect yourself. Number 7, let the engine cool down before opening the hood or radiator cap. To raise the coolant's boiling point, the cooling system works under pressure. This allows the radiator, pipes, and engine parts to become extremely hot and pressured as soon as the engine is removed. Serious burns may happen from the sudden eruption of hot coolant and steam caused by opening the radiator cap or cover too soon. A minimum of 15 to 30 minutes must pass before the temperature gauge returns to a safe level, or longer if the engine was significantly overheated. To gently release pressure, turn the radiator cap slowly while wearing gloves or a thick cloth. Your safety is guaranteed, and you can safely examine the cooling system's components thanks to this cautious approach. Number 6, check coolant levels and top off if low. The fluid that absorbs engine heat and moves it to the radiator for dissipation is called coolant. Overheating is frequently caused by low coolant levels. Once the engine has cooled down enough, visually check the radiator and coolant reservoir, if available, to make sure the coolant level is within the recommended range. Carefully add the appropriate kind of coolant or a 50-50 blend of coolant and distilled water if the coolant level is low. Since plain water lacks corrosion inhibitors and can harm the cooling system, it should not be used for an extended period of time. Additionally, look for contamination, debris, or discoloration in the coolant, as these can lessen its efficacy. Recurring coolant loss is a sign of a leak or other system failure that has to be fixed right away. Number 5, inspect the cooling system for leaks and damage. Coolant volume and pressure are decreased by cooling system leaks, which hinder heat dissipation and result in overheating. Check underneath the car for coolant puddles, which are usually brightly colored pink, orange, or green, and have a pleasant scent. Check for cracks, brittleness, swelling, or loose clamps on all hoses that are attached to the heater core, radiator, and engine. Look for obvious damage on the radiator, such as cracks, dents, or corrosion. Additionally, coolant loss may result from leaks or malfunctions in the water pump, which moves coolant through the radiator and engine. Maintaining enough coolant flow and avoiding engine damage depend on the early diagnosis and repair of leaks or damaged parts. Number 4, check the radiator fan operation and belt condition. Particularly when the car is parked or driving slowly, The radiator fan is crucial for cooling the engine. The fan should start up automatically to draw air through the radiator and dissipate heat as soon as the engine reaches working temperature. The engine's temperature can rise quickly if the fan doesn't kick on because of a malfunctioning motor, blown fuse, defective relay, or damaged wiring. The water pump and other accessories are also driven by a serpentine belt. If this belt is worn out, loose, or damaged, the water pump will not circulate coolant efficiently, which could result in overheating. Check the fan blades for damage or cracks and make sure the belt is securely fastened. To restore appropriate cooling function, fix or swap out any malfunctioning parts. Number 3, test the thermostat and water pump for proper function. In order to maintain the ideal engine operating temperature, the thermostat controls the flow of coolant between the engine and radiator by opening and closing in reaction to temperature variations. Coolant cannot flow through the radiator if the thermostat is stuck closed, which leads to quick overheating. On the other hand, an open thermostat lowers engine efficiency by preventing the engine from reaching the ideal temperature. Once the engine has warmed up, test by feeling the upper radiator hose. If it stays cool, the thermostat might be broken. A malfunctioning water pump might leak coolant or make odd noises like grinding or screeching. The water pump moves coolant throughout the engine and radiator. Both components are essential for controlling temperature and may need to be replaced if they are broken. Number 2, monitor the engine temperature gauge and listen for unusual sounds. Your dashboard's temperature gauge gives you up-to-date information about engine temperature. Keep an eye out for irregular spikes, sharp rise, or persistently high readings, all of which point to issues with the cooling system. Additionally, keep an ear out for odd noises coming from the engine bay, such as knocking, hissing, grinding, or whining, as these could indicate mechanical problems like a failed water pump, head gasket leaks, or coolant leaks. By identifying these indications early on, you can avoid catastrophic engine failure and take prompt action. It's best to stop driving and get professional assistance right once if the gauge keeps rising in spite of your attempts. Number 1, drive carefully to a mechanic or call for assistance if needed. If the engine is still overheating after you have refilled the coolant and inspected the hoses, fans, belts, and other essential parts, steer clear of long drives to avoid serious damage. On your way to the closest repair shop, drive carefully at slower speeds, avoiding aggressive acceleration and stop and go traffic. Call roadside assistance or a tow service if the car continues to overheat or if you have any doubts about its condition. Experts can carry out comprehensive diagnostics and repairs to get your cooling system operating again and stop overheating in the future. Early troubleshooting and routine maintenance can stop overheating problems from becoming more serious and requiring expensive repairs. Following these steps can help you manage and fix an overheating car engine safely and effectively. For persistent issues, professional mechanical diagnosis and repair are recommended to avoid costly damage. Thanks for watching our video, and don't forget to subscribe.